Hello folks, here's Paradise. This is L Talk, and in this video we are going to cover past perfect. In case that you are not familiar with this channel, in L Talk in here, we are trying to learn English in a fun way and in a way that we are going to boost our confidence in English. It doesn't matter. It's grammar, it's vocabulary, it's speaking, it's writing, listening, anything. In here, we are going to learn how to think in English and be confident in our English version. It doesn't matter what is your native language. And in the previous videos, we already covered some grammar parts. We covered simples, simple past, simple present, simple future, and some continuous ones. Past continuous, present continuous, and future continuous. So in case that you have any concern, any question about any of those grammars, feel free to check the previous videos. But they are not chained together. I mean, if you are watching this video is ultimate guide to past perfect, and there's no extra ones before or after this video. And the other videos, previous ones on the the following ones, they would be just for themselves. Okay, they are not chained together. And in case that you feel that you need subtitles to this video, there is this little button down here. Feel free to click on it and we're good to go. So you can see the subtitles after that. So let's go and cover past perfect. What are these perfects? I mean, most of my students, they feel kind of itchy when at the moment that I say, let's talk about perfect, let's talk about past perfect, present perfect. They're like, what are these? We always use have, has, had, but we don't know what are they? Why do we use them? When do we use them? I mean, they are tricky, you know? So in this video, I'm going to talk about past perfect in the most simple and understandable way. Okay, so hang in there. The formula is subject plus had plus past participle. You know past participle? Remember in the previous videos, in the part that we were talking about simple past, we were talking about those type of verbs that they were like bad boys and they had like their own way when we wanted to make them in the past, simple past form. Okay, remember that table that it was 3 columns, the first one was the base form, the second one was the simple past, and the third one was for past participle. Okay, past participle are the type of the verbs that we use them in perfect types. Okay, perfect and some others, but for now we are going to talk about perfect. So the ones that we are going to use, the form of the verb that we use in perfect are that third column, the past participle. So now your question would be like this. What if the verb was a good boy and there was no third column to that? It was not an irregular verb. Well, bingo, it's much easier because in this case, you just need to add ed at the end. Just exactly the way that we made it in simple past. That is the thing. Okay. So and had, when we use had in here, it doesn't mean like have, like owning something. This is the auxiliary verb. You see, the had in here is the auxiliary verb. Remember, in the previous videos, I told you the concept of auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb is not the main action, is not the main verb. It's just the auxiliary, the verb that is helping our main verb to come. The main verb is this verb that is turned into the past participle form. The auxiliary verb is a verb that is not the action, that is not the main verb, main action, but we use it in the sentences to help that main verb. In those cases, it was for negative and it was for question. But in this case, for past perfect, it's a part of the structure of perfect. Okay. In the following videos, we see that in the future, in the present perfect, we're gonna use have or has, but they are the same. I mean, the concept is the same. So this is the auxiliary verb in here, and as you see, it's the same. So fortunately, in here it's not like for she, he, it, they are different. For others, they are like this. Unfortunately, we have this in present perfect, but for past perfect, it's had for all of them. So for example, I want to say I had cooked. You see, cook is a good boy, so I add ed. So for example, I had gone. Go was a bad boy. Go, went, gone. So the past participle, the third column is gone. You had gone. She had cooked. He had played. It had studied. We had traveled. They had, you told me, learned, for example. Speak, spoke, spoken. Spoken. Okay, so we covered the formula and the way that we use it. Now it's the time to cover the conditions in which we use past perfect. I mean the main question in here. So why past perfect? Why should I use past perfect? There are three main categories in which we use past perfect in them. And the main one, as you see this, is about, I mean, it's all about past. As you can see, as you can imagine, it's all about past because we are saying past perfect. Okay, so that totally makes sense. So the actions, I mean, as many actions as we can imagine, they are happening in the past. You see? But imagine two actions happening in the past and one of them happening as the first action, the other one as the following action or as the second action. So for the first action, we're going to use past perfect. You get it? You see? So it's easy. So the first one, the first and the most important type that we use past perfect for is this. So the first action happened and the second one, following action. For the first one, we're going to use past perfect. The second one is, as you can imagine, before, after. I bet that in every grammar book, in every grammar exercise, you have seen that many times they have told you that when we have before, after, they are a kind of signs that we use past perfect. But when you read it, I mean, it doesn't make sense, you know. But when you see that in examples, and when you know the big picture of past perfect and the conditions that we use them, in that way, you can analyze it and you can see what is the case. I mean, what is the deal? Why should I use that? So now it makes sense. When I have before and after, it is referring to the action. You see, I told you the action number one, and B, action number two. So one of them is happening the first and the other one would be the following. So before and after. It makes sense, huh? And the third one, to explain reasons for past events. So let's see some examples to see what are these categories exactly talking about. So number one, I had finished. You see, finish was a good boy. So that all you need to make it past participle is to add ed to that. I had finished my homework before my mom came home. So you tell me, what was the first action? The first action was finishing the homework, or the first action was mom coming home? If you think that you need to think about it, just pause the video, think about it, or do something on your notebook, write something, try to make sense, try to analyze it. In this way, you will understand it in a better and more and a deeper way. Okay, so feel free to pause the video, do it yourself, and then resume it. Yes, the first one is finishing the homework before. It means that I do it and then mom came. Okay, so you see that I use for the first action, I use past participle. And the next one, it's just simple past because it happened and that's it. I don't need to show that it's continuing to use it continuous, or I don't need to use it perfect because it was not the first action. Okay, so I use simple past. She had already left when I arrived. You tell me, which one is the first, leaving or arriving? You see, these are the main verbs. I have had in here, but had is not the main verb. For example, when I say I have a microphone, this have in here is the main verb. It's showing the ownership. It means that this is mine. I own this microphone. But in this case, this had is not talking about ownership, honey. Okay? So it's just the auxiliary verb. So makes sense. Okay, so in the following videos, I tell you that, for example, when I say he had an accident, the first had is auxiliary verb. The second had is the main action, having an accident. Because most of my students, almost every one of my students, they're like confused. What is this have, had? What is this? They're crazy. I mean, they have every right to drive crazy, but this is the case. When you can distinct the auxiliary verb from the main action, that is the point that you can understand the grammars in English. Before he called, I had fallen asleep. Before he called, falling asleep. You tell me which one is the main verb. I had fallen asleep. Fallen asleep and then called. Okay? After I had studied, I took a break. Again, I took a break. And all of them, you see, all of them, they are talking about number one, to show the happening, and number one and two to be more accurate, because we are using before and after. But both of them, they are talking about the same thing. I mean, the first action happened and the second action followed. That's it. Okay? So, why was he tired? This is about the third category. Why was he tired? I'm talking because the question starts with why. So, I expect the answer to provide a reason to my question. When I say why something happens, I expect an answer as because or the reason in the answer. Because, as we expected, he had worked all night. He had worked. I'm talking about a cause. A reason for past event. For past event, he was tired. For example, last night I saw him and he was tired. Why? Because he had worked all night. Okay? And I had finished my work before 5 p.m. Again, the category number 2 and 3, they are the same, I can say. But before and after, they are just signs that the moment that we hear them, we see that, is it a past perfect? Is it something like that? It's like this, okay? And the negative, it's like any other form. We add not to the auxiliary verb. I had not finished, okay? I'm not gonna use the not for the main verb. I mean, that is a tip, that is an alert. Make sure that you do not add this not to finish. That doesn't work this way. And for the question, again, like any other way of making question, we put auxiliary verb at the beginning of the question and the rest. Had you finished? I mean, the subject, the verb, and the rest of the sentence. Okay, so in this video, we learned that past perfect is not a scary grammar after all. It's a tiny little grammar that is going to talk about two actions that happened in the past, and one of them happened first and the other followed it. Okay, that's it. That is the main thing that you need to talk about past perfect. And that is the main thing that you need to know about past perfect. Okay, It can be in many other categories. If you open a grammar book, or if you Google it, or if you search any other website for that, there might be many other categories that say, in this case, we use past perfect. In that case, we use past perfect. Okay, you can go and memorize all of them. Feel free, be my guest. But that doesn't work this way. Okay, you have to know the main concept. You have to learn the big picture, and after that, it flows. Okay, this is a way that you're gonna make English your comfortable zone. The way that you go for learning more and more details, that is a good way. But if you are a beginner in this, and this stage, at this stage, if you are just trying to make sense out of all these grammars, complicated grammars, this is the thing that you need to know. This is the most important digest that you need to know in order to use it in your sentences. And try to make as many sentences as you can. Try to exercise, to practice this, and combine it with the previous grammars that I already covered in the previous videos, and try to combine them and use as many sentences as you can using them. And don't forget to comment them below so that we cover them together. And if you had any question, any concern, anything about it, feel free to put it in a comment. I'll make sure to answer them. So this was for this video for past perfect. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found it useful and easy enough to understand it. So from now on, I hope after watching this video, you don't find past perfect that is scary and spooky after all. So let's go to the next video, in which we are going to cover present perfect. Ciao.